What's up, everyone? We're back for another episode of Back in Gold. Once again, I am Matt, and over there, that bald beautiful man is Connor Breedlove. We're here to talk to you about Cavs Media Day, how we feel everything over there is going on, and I'm excited. He's got his new Cavs hat. I got the new jersey on, which honestly, after today, I feel a lot better about. So yeah. Connor, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing good. I feel really good after that media day. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. A lot of fun. Yeah. I'm one of those. I know we're NBA geeks, so but I've always been one of those people who I always love to watch media day. I don't care that we don't get any back. It's you're hearing about these guys' mindsets and the team's mindsets going into the season. So it's always been one of those things where I'm like, all right, cool. I feel a lot more comfortable now than I did before watching this.
Mm-hmm.
So going into today, I was like, all right, let's see how this goes. And I'll tell you what, I am feeling so happy with where this team is at.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody seems um, like they want to continue what they started last season. You know, with the injuries and everything, then the season kind of was derailed, but seems like everybody's still in that, we're the underdogs, even though they're not so much the underdogs anymore.
Right.
Um, Teams will be gunning after them, but they still have that mindset, which is good. I loved hearing from Ricky Rubio, saying he has unfinished business, saying he feels the best he has in his career going into the season. So it's
Yeah.
it from this media day, it seems very promising. Like I'm
Yeah.
very excited about this season.
And when Ricky came on to speak, that was one of the things I was most interested in because it was
Mm-hmm.
clear last year. Last year at media day, he's like, "I'm here. We'll see where I am after
Mm-hmm.
this season." But you can just see how happy he is and the
Yeah,
mindset change, how Cleveland really had an impact on him as a player. He's like, he mentioned unfinished business, and
yeah.
that's why he came back, and that was pretty cool to me because it's like, yo, is Cleveland finally starting to become that place to where
I think
people?
so. I think JB and a lot of those bets kind of turned it around, especially Ricky. I think he had like I mean, the JB and Kobe even were like, yeah, Ricky had, and Kevin Love even said it too. Ricky had a big part in shaping that identity, that that next up mentality and everything. So um, it seems like, yeah, Cleveland's the place to be right now.
And you talk about Ricky having a part in shaping that next man up mentality, and we kind of saw how the team kind of shifted dynamics once he got injured. It,
Yeah.
it, it became a little disjointed, and that's why, even though he did say he could end up playing in November, he could end up not playing till February. He's not putting a timetable on it, which I respect because he's
Yeah.
not setting
He's not rushing it.
expectations too high. He's like,
Yeah.
whenever I get cleared and my body feels right, cool. I know some people who were just general viewers were taking notice that we didn't get to see Donovan Mitchell speak. Me personally, didn't bug me that much because he just had this large
Yeah.
introductory press conference just
Yeah.
about a week or so ago. So, what else are you really going to hear
Yeah.
that's different?
Yeah. And it was interesting to hear that Ricky had kind of a impact on bringing Donovan here.
Yeah.
He was saying that he was speaking with Kobe about, you know, Kobe reached out to him like, "What do you think? Should we do it?" And he was like, if you have the chance to do it, do it." So it
No.
seems like he had like an impact on bringing Donovan here.
And Kobe and JB even said as much in their opening address, where they're like, we talked to players and coaches
Mm.
and people who knew Donovan personally because they didn't want to, and I respect this, they didn't want to interrupt the locker room by adding this personality that wasn't going to
Yeah.
fit. But by all accounts, from what they heard, everything about Donovan just fit who this organization is right now.
He's already like
So
he's going to Browns games. Just he's already fitting in.
yes.
He's already fitting in.
Some people have said Donovan might have just read the guidebook to being a Clevelander before
Yeah,
even getting traded here,
yeah,
because showed up in a Brownie the Elf hat, is
yeah,
doing the new honorary guitar smash that they're doing at Browns games to begin the
yeah.
game, like, which honestly, I'm Cavs aside, that guitar smash is pretty freaking cool. But I liked getting to hear from Darius because a lot of people know that, and a lot of people said this is still Darius's team. He is the guy.
Yeah, everybody
Now
was saying this
Donovan
is
is just,
Darius's team. Like they're giving him like full reins on this team. That's crazy. That's nuts.
and so what that says to me is he's just gained the respect of the locker room so
Yeah.
much at this point in time in his career that you can't really be mad or upset with it. He's still a young guy, and I know I sent you earlier that apparently the Cavs have their own Building the Browns show.
Mm-hmm.
I watched both up. I watched the 2 episodes of this season today,
The road back,
and
right?
the second. You said what?
Isn't it called like the road back?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And I watched the second episode, and it's opening at the dinner of JB and Koby with Darius, giving him his contract extension, and Koby
Mm-hmm.
basically says to him, "This is the first Supermax contract we've given out as a franchise. So now, don't get complacent. There's a lot of responsibility that comes with this because you're shepherding this new wave that we're about to embark on.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's a new wave you've been excited about. I've been excited about, and the city of Cleveland and Cavs fans around the world are excited about because." And let's be honest, the last week or so of the NBA has kind of shifted a little bit. People don't know what the Celtics are going to be. People don't know how certain things are going to pan out in the East as much anymore because they're not, well, they're not the same as when we last actually were talking on this show. I don't want to dive too much into it, but Ime Udoka, Celtics head coach, suspended by the team for a year. Some people have tried to pull the, oh, why is the NBA suspending him? It's not the NBA. It's the team. There's a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Teams can still suspend their own. Hell, you and I both know this as Cavs fans. Kevin Porter Jr. was suspended by the team, not the NBA.
Yeah.
And honestly, I felt like a little bit during Kobe and JB's opening address, there might have been a shot or two at Kevin Porter Jr. Or at least
Yeah.
that's what it seemed like.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things where it may put the team, it's as messed up as this is, it may put our team in a better position because is this coach going to be able to continue the momentum, or maybe it puts our team in a worse position because now you have the Celtics have a reason to play even harder because they want to make sure their coach isn't vilified and that they can maybe win in honor of him. I know, granted, I don't know why you'd want to win in honor considering what's come out about that entire situation. Not as consensual as we once thought, but still
Yeah.
consensual to a degree.
I mean, you could go either way with it. Like thinking about some teams, might push through despite what's going on with their teams. But I mean, you gotta look at the Cavs. They have one of the best. I mean, even though we don't have a solid three right now, we still have one of the best starting lineups.
Yeah.
Regardless,
Yes.
we have, I think, the most cohesive and drama-free cultures and teams right now, where everybody's
Oh,
just in sync
100%.
and locked in. Where I think, name like the top five, like the consensus top like five teams, and the Cavs like kind of beat all of them because all those teams have so much drama surrounding them that and everybody like puts like the Nets and like all these other teams like the Sixers. It's like, what have they done though? Like, how many years are you gonna? How many seasons are you gonna be
based
like
off of me,
it's the next year? It's the next year. What have they done? How can you still put them at the number 2 in the East? What have they done in the last 3 years? They have not done shit. We almost beat them in the play-in. Like, what? Come on.
Play-in.
Yeah, the
Did
play-in.
you watch any of KD's press conference today?
No, and I really don't give a shit because he was going after all the reporters immediately after. It's like, it's media day. Like, this is their job. It's media day.
Well, no, it was. I was curious if you saw his response to, is he surprised that he's still on the Nets roster? Because he just, his body language was just like, well, nah, because like, I respect the GM and the owner for basically being like, yeah, you're too good to just give away. Like, so I'm not surprised. I'm still like, it looked like he did not want to be there, and it sounded like he did not want to be there. And there's going to be a dark cloud to hang over this franchise for the next season at minimum, unless they trade KD and Kyrie in the middle of the season.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Cavs media day, and it was literally it was just guys messing around and having fun and just speaking so highly of one another, and it wasn't like the cliche answers that you get on like your media day bingo board. Like, it was real answers. Like, everybody was just enthused. And let's talk about Evan Mobley. Jesus Christ, that man!
Yes,
bulked
dude
up.
looks like he got bigger.
I showed a picture of him.
It's mainly in the arms.
And she was like, Jesus fucking Christ, that doesn't even look like him. Like, he's huge. Like, he really bulked up. And like hearing
and that's kind of what you want to see.
Maybe and him like talk about how he was like in Cleveland like every day in the off season, just working out and talking with JB and stuff like the whole off season. Like, that's such a good sign about what he can do in his second season.
Yeah, and that's actually what I wanted to get to next, because even though he and his entire way through his press conference,
Yeah,
Evan
I mean,
Mobley,
he's still a young kid,
spoke,
and like this is still like
he's still young.
It's probably still like a culture shock still.
But just hearing him speak and talk about the progress he's making on a player, it sounds like his 3-point shot's gotten better, which I'm excited to see.
Yeah, I loved hearing about his like game plan. Like, he said he was going to bring it up the floor more. He's like, you're going to see me on the perimeter a lot more. So that I got hyped about.
Overall, hearing that is great. And here we got a team picture right here. Look at that man's arms. They're the size of Jared Allen's now. Like, dude's arms seemed like they were half that size last year. They look like they were half that size. He looked like KD. He was skin and bone. And now it's like, hey, check out these guns, man. And it's just like, oh, okay. I vibe with it.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, it was interesting to me looking at who we got to hear talk and looking at who we didn't. Like, here, we didn't hear from Isaac Okoro, but we heard from Karis LeVert.
Yeah, which kind of makes me think Karis might be our 3.
Might be the favorite. Yeah, might be the favorite for the 3, and that's what I was about to get at. Is he the favorite for the 3?
But there weren't really any questions about that. I didn't hear.
There was one or two to start off. There's one or two to start off his press conference, but I think he answered all he could regarding possibly start, because they're like,
nobody really knows. They still got
because I mean, there's still Chetty's still a possibility.
Yeah,
Okoro's a possibility. They just signed a Dean Wade to that 6-year, 18.5.
Yeah,
so it's just like, there are options. There are
Yeah.
options all around.
It's
And
interesting that Dean got the extension amid like what like our kind of dilemma with the three. Like he got
yeah,
the extension.
and we got to see him have time at the three last year, and he was
Yeah. He was
spacing the
really
ball
good.
well. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was. He that
I
I
think it was like a
the reason I like
39.5.
that. Yeah, something around there. The reason I like that signing though is because that's the kind of signing. It's like when they gave Lamar Stevens his contract
Mhm.
extension. It's the kind of signing you make for a young guy who's earned their way and is a nice depth piece going down the road. It's not a huge contract. It's
No.
not huge by any means. It's the kind of contract you give a decent rotational player, which I think the hope is for him.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Dean a lot. That extension just has me thinking like, but we also heard from Karras, so it's still up in the air, but I'm regardless. I mean, we have a solid four right now. You
Yeah,
know, we got one and two, and four and five. Like those are locked in. Whoever they put in the three, like it's a great lineup.
yeah. Well, the one player I was a little sad in that we didn't get to hear from because we haven't heard from him much at all this offseason was Robin Lopez. I was excited to
Yeah,
hear
I
him,
wanted to hear
like,
from Rob.
because you're sitting there like, all right, you chose the Cavs. I want to hear, like, we didn't. It's not like the old days when Danny Ferry was the GM and every single signing we had a press conference to go along with it.
Hmm.
This we got. Hey, we signed this person, and I just sit here. I'm like, when are we getting a press conference? Are we getting a press conference? What's going on here? I don't see a press conference anywhere. Okay. Oh, we're at media day. I'll hear him talk here. Nope. Okay.
Yeah,
So, but I
but you know,
mean,
his tweets were the media day we needed.
this is true.
His tweets are great. Yeah, I'm excited to see Robin Lopez, and I think we'll see good minutes from him. Honestly.
I do also, but it was also nice hearing Evan talk about his brother and how
Mhm.
they're bringing him along because that's kind of what you want to know about
Mhm.
because that I think the ability to put second round picks on two-way contracts is just awesome because they're not taking up a full roster spot, but they're still getting playing time because they're going back and forth between your team and the G League,
Mhm.
and then you're also allowing them the ability to be around the big league, the
Mhm.
guys, get a feel
Yeah.
for it, practice with them, learn from them, and I think that is super important.
Yeah.
And look at
Absolutely.
it this way: we have two guys on our current roster that came up from two-way contracts. Dean Wade was a two-way contract at one point.
Hmm.
Lamar Stevens was a two-way contract at one point.
Yeah.
They are now, arguably, some would say, key rotational pieces.
Absolutely. And I mean, Lamar Stevens is like he's a big part of that, you know, defensive identity that they had last season. Like he was good. He was good on the defensive end. Maybe not so much on the offensive end, but he was really good on defense. And you know, I think that speaks to what they were saying pretty much all day, where it's a developmental culture. They bring guys in, they develop them, and you know make them to where they need to be to perform in the NBA, which I kind of think just speaks to those two-way contracts.
Well, and then in Kobe's opening statement, he talks about how you got to give credit for Dan Gilbert to allowing the front office to shift gears from after their 4 year run in the finals to allowing them to switch to this player development mentality because they it seems like they knew we're not in a place where we can compete right now. Why
Yeah,
try to force this?
yeah, absolutely.
So what they did, He allowed them to strip it down and make the moves that they needed to make to get to where they are now. If they don't make
Yeah.
those moves, you don't end up with Donovan Mitchell. If they don't make those moves, you don't end up with Jared Allen. If you don't end up with the roster that you do right now.
Yeah, you don't end up with two finesse trades where we we traded for Jared Allen, ended up getting Karis LeVert after trading Ricky Rubio and then re-signing
And then
Ricky Rubio. Like
exactly.
the last like 2 seasons, they've just finessed every trade they made. Like every single one just ended up finessing.
And we're hoping the Garland one isn't just another one of those. Another thing I want to say is I loved hearing. Why did I say Garland? The
Donovan.
Mitch, yeah, the Donovan trade is one of them. It's Darius and Donovan. That's why I said Garland.
It's very confusing.
But something like hearing him say today is people know me for my offensive game, but when I came into the league, I was known as a defensive player. And this team was a top 5 team in defense before I came. So now I had to figure out how to fit in and help bring them even greater going forward. And I loved hearing that because he's not known as the greatest defender in the NBA. He's a lot like. You said what?
Who said that? Donovan?
Yeah, Donovan.
Oh.
Like, I laugh because Colin Sexton, it seems like he and Colin Sexton have similar stories. They came into the league known for their defense. Their offense would come eventually, and they both made an impact on offense and like no impact on defense, and it just never materialized going forward.
Yeah, so, I think now that, you know,
he doesn't have to carry the scoring load.
Yeah, he can focus on the defensive end, and I think he will. I think he will because, I mean, that's what they drive home there on that team, like nonstop. Like that's their identity. So I think we'll see a different Donovan for sure.
And I love how JB, even when he's talking about, he's a guy who just fits in, and then if you ask him to go and get 50 for you, he'll be able to do it also. It's just like,
yeah,
you know what? That is so true. And I like that because it just makes me feel like we have the right group of guys and the team was built the right way. We didn't try to rush it. Like here, you can say all you want about those LeBron teams in the 4-year run. None of them are really built the right way. Like this team, the way it's been built is so reminiscent to how the Celtics just built their team.
Yeah, absolutely.
You had your draft picks, and you made a couple trades to supplement that. Your draft picks that have really panned out for you, Garland and Mobley. You made trades for Allen. You made trades for Mitchell, and now you're starting to see how this team's really going to come together going forward. And I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Connor, before we get out of here, what are some, because we wanted to keep this short anyways, and I think I think outside of a recap of preseason before the season, this is probably the last time you're going to hear from us until the season starts.
Yeah, probably.
But what final thoughts from Media Day today?
It was just so nice seeing Ricky Rubio smiling and laughing. I loved it. I'm just so happy he's back. I'm so excited for this team. It's going to be such a fun season. Yeah, I'm just really excited. Man, I just love the cast, man. I just love them.
I love them too, and I'm so excited to get to breaking down some basketball and looking at what this team is going to be. We're in for a fun ride, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Knock on wood.
But only got less than a month till the home opener.
Which we'll be at. We'll
be at the home opener. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. I'm not prepared.
But guys, be sure to just in a little bit on our Twitch to go watch this man and continuing his bully stream. Jimmy's got that dog in him. Never forget. Woof woof woof.
He's got that dog in him.
And yeah, got that dog in him.
They all got that dog in them.
Right. And be sure to check out everything we do over here at Watt Entertainment, whether it's sports stuff like Real Sports or this, or it's movie talks, reviews, that. Check it out. It's fun stuff.
Yeah.
But until then,
for everybody.
Yeah. But until then, we'll see you next time. That was Connor. I'm Matt. This was Back in Goal.